Today, we will study about the history of the Book of Kings and the Book of Judges. Let us understand why God intervened for His people throughout numerous physical battles. We can see this in the history of Gideon's battle as well. Let us take a look at Judges chapter 7. Judges chapter 7, verse 1. It reads, "Early in the morning, Jerubbaal, that is, Gideon, and all his men camped at the spring of Harod. The camp of Midian was north of them in the valley near the hill of Moreh. The Lord said to Gideon, 'You have too many men for me to deliver Midian into their hands, in order that Israel may not boast against me.' It says they may boast about themselves, saying, 'Isn't it because we came up with a good strategy? Isn't it because our method was the best way?' By only thinking of their strategy and method, wouldn't they deny that the only reason they won was because God was with them? In order that Israel may not boast against me that her own strength has saved her, announce now to the people, anyone who trembles with fear may turn back and leave Mount Gilead.' So 22,000 men left, while 10,000 remained. Since it was possible to still boast with 10,000 men, God commanded Gideon to reduce the number to a level where it was impossible to go against the enemy with such few people. It was God's profound will to make them realize who was with them? God was with them. Gideon did as God commanded, saying, 'Since God is the commander of our army, and I am only a representative who carries out God's work, I will do as God says. Anyone who trembles with fear may turn back and leave.' He sent 22,000 men away. Again, after observing how they drank water, he sent more away. Gideon said, 'Send all of them away except for 300. In Gideon's perspective, looking at the situation with human eyes, this was impossible. How can we ever win with such few men? He could have regarded the situation as impossible. However, he entered his enemy's base camp with only 300 men and had an absolute faith. The result will always be a victory if God is the commander of our army. Very late at night, around the time when the Midianites changed guards, all the 300 men smashed the jars and raised their torches, shouting, 'For the Lord and for Gideon.' When the enemies, who were sleeping, heard the 300 men shouting and breaking the jars, they were so shocked and perplexed. They thought Gideon's army was already among them in their base camp and started to kill each other with their swords. So there were no casualties among Gideon's 300 warriors, and the enemy destroyed itself. We can see this amazing work when we read the story of Gideon. Why are there so many records of past battles and wars in the Bible? This is to teach us that even in the spiritual battle, we will surely obtain victory if we do everything according to God's teachings and commands. Realizing that God is the commander of our army, and we are only the deputies who carry out His will. Only then can our Zions become stronger and stronger. Didn't the Bible say that the least will become 1,000 and the smallest a mighty nation? In other words, when we regard God as our commander and carry out this last gospel work according to God's commands as His representatives, won't the members of Zion rise like a flame and the great work of saving all our lost brothers and sisters be fulfilled? Let us have the faith to say, God is the commander of our spiritual army and is always leading us. I request all of you to become Zion family members who will graciously follow the will of father and mother. By this, I would like to conclude the sermon. Thank you very much.